It's Friday, February 6th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A fourth youth is arrested for sexual offenses following a hockey hazing. Moncton neighbors are scared after a spray of bullets hits a home.
Occasional flurries on the weekend with not much chance of a significant snow until later next week.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. Nice to have you with us on this Friday. A fourth young person has been arrested for sexual offenses in connection with that hockey hazing incident in the Truro area we told you about last night. As CTV's Jonathan McGinnis reports, police believe there may be more victims.
Bible Hill RCMP made the arrest yesterday. The youth was interviewed by police and it was determined charges were warranted.
This individual is facing charges of assault with choking and sexual assault.
This brings the total number of youth arrested in relation to an alleged hazing incident involving a Truro area hockey team to 4. The other 3 are facing similar sexual assault charges. On January 30th, a youth reported being assaulted during a private team gathering in October 2025. An investigation was started. Other locations and victims were identified.
I think there's something deeply systemic that we can't keep turning away from and saying it's a few bad apples or it's a few guys who, have led astray. I think there's something deeply systemic in the hockey world. So not surprised that these things keep coming through and
Tim Skuse studies hockey
attention.
and hazing at Brandon University in Manitoba. Were you surprised by the age group that this took place in?
Not at all. Not at all.
Hockey Nova Scotia's Code of Conduct, introduced in 2024, sets out guidelines for everyone associated with the sport in the province. In part, it reads that all participants must refrain from any behavior that constitutes sexual harassment, where sexual harassment is defined as unwelcome sexual comments and sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or conduct of a sexual nature. At the association level, Matt Fredericks with the Halifax Hawks says the charges are concerning.
We don't allow any of that type of behavior at our association. Most associations don't. In my experience, most of the instances of hazing actually don't happen at the rink. They actually happen away from team-sanctioned events, we'll call them. Despite yesterday's arrest, police say this investigation is far from over.
We have additional interviews to do related to witnesses. With that, we expect to learn new information. As a result, we may identify additional victims and additional offenders.
All youth arrested have been released. The Truro area team has been suspended while the matter is under investigation. The team has not been named.
And our sister network, TSN, has reported that a complaint about locker room behavior on the Truro team was made to Hockey Canada in early December and was being investigated by the organization's independent third party. That investigation, Todd, is now on hold.
All right, Jonathan McGinnis leading us off in the Halifax studio tonight. Thank you for that, John. A 26-year-old man has been arrested after running from police last night in Brighton, Nova Scotia. An emergency alert was issued to Digby and Annapolis and Yarmouth counties. Chandler James Gidney faces half a dozen charges, including pointing a firearm, uttering death threats, assault with a weapon, and choking. He was scheduled to appear in a court today. A woman living in Moncton, the downtown area, had her home peppered with bullets last week. She's scared and completely stumped that someone would target her place. She spoke with our Derek Haggett today.
When Joanne Oakes woke up last Saturday morning, she quickly discovered something wasn't right. Oakes, who doesn't want to appear on camera, had shots fired at her downtown home.
Well, I woke up in the morning and I came out to my living room and there was like drywall all over the floor. And that's when I started looking at the walls and noticed there was 2 big holes. And then I noticed there was a bullet on my desk.
Police are investigating the Dufferin Street shooting, which occurred sometime during the early morning hours of January 31st. Oakes doesn't feel like she or anyone else that lives in the multi-unit building was targeted, but the experience has left her shaken.
It's terrified. Like, I don't even feel comfortable sitting in my living room anymore watching TV. I find I'm going in my bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even getting to enjoy my full house anymore.
Oakes admits it's not the greatest of neighborhoods, but says nothing like this has happened since she moved in 9 years ago. A member of the Kodiak Regional RCMP told me today there's no belief the homeowner was targeted by any means, and the shooting incident was most likely a random act. Shots were also fired at a Dieppe home just 3 days before the Dufferin Street shooting. No one was injured in that incident. One of Oakes' neighbors, who didn't want to appear on camera, says the area is dangerous, and she doesn't think the shooting is out of the ordinary. Oakes would like to see more security cameras throughout the downtown core, like there are in larger cities. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
It was difficult to understand the accused in 2 murder cases allowed to walk free after Fredericton police admitted to an error. The force promised to do better, and now they've hired a former RCMP investigator to help them. CTV's Laura Brown has the details.
And if it's not corrected, this could very well happen again.
Michael Boudreau is referring to the collapse of 2 murder cases at the hands of the Fredericton police force. The charges in the homicides of Corey Markey and Brandon Donnellan were dropped last year because of an error by the force. No specifics have ever been released, only that it was an insurmountable evidentiary issue.
Real people are affected in this case very adversely, both the victims and their families. And it was preventable. That's the key part.
19 recommendations were made in December. This week, the force's police chief promised the work has begun.
The public trust with the community is certainly our priority moving forward.
Chief Forward announced all the recommendations will be enacted by June of next year. Most focus on better training and management of their major crimes unit. One promises to review all major cases and unsolved historical files. The force's progress will be updated online.
And the public will be able to click on the link through our website in real time, see the progress report and update. So we hope that lends to the transparency.
While the number of homicides in the city is relatively low, it has increased in recent years. 1 in 2023, 5 in 2024. Boudreau believes it's fair if residents remain wary.
If people have skepticism and hold the police force to account, because if this happens again, then we have to start talking about, well, should people be resigning from the police force? And that's why we need more oversight from City Council.
The chief will provide another update on April 2nd. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Nova Scotia Power insists there's finally an end in sight to months of billing headaches. The utility expects all of its meters to be reconnected by the end of March. That's nearly a year after a cybersecurity breach disrupted its billing system. CTV's Hafsa Arif is with us in the news center tonight. Hafsa, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Todd, the transition hasn't exactly been smooth. After relying on estimated bills for most of the past year, Nova Scotia Power says many of its customers are now seeing bills based on what they actually used. As of January, 86% of customers were getting bills based on actual usage. That follows a cybersecurity breach that, among other things, knocked its metering system offline, forcing the utility to estimate bills for months. Now, as meters are coming back online, those estimates are being replaced. And for some customers, that means seeing balances that reflect power they used months ago.
We know that we've been estimating bills a lot over the last 10 months, and we do know that that's caused frustration for our customers. We acknowledge that. Our customer care team is here to help. If any customer has a question about their unique situation, we encourage them to reach out and call us.
Part of the delay has been simple access, like getting onto properties, including apartment buildings, and figuring out new metering reading routes. Add in an older billing system, which hasn't always been clear to customers to begin with, along with the information around how those estimated charges were being corrected. Customer complaints picked up in November when colder weather pushed estimated winter bills higher, especially for people who heat with electricity. For the past several months, Nova Scotia Power has been telling customers they didn't have to pay estimated bills if they weren't comfortable. For now, late fees and interest charges are still on hold. Nova Scotia Power says as more meters are read, more customers are realizing they owe money. And it's not because rates changed, but according to the utility, the earlier bills people were getting were underestimated. Todd?
All right. Thank you for that, Hafsa, in the news center this evening. And late this afternoon, the Premier's office issued a release saying that the province of Nova Scotia continues to urge the Energy Board to reject Nova Scotia Power's rate increase request. There is a downtown look at Charlottetown right now, where it's currently -6 degrees. We get a first look at the weather, and we bring in CTV meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell with a look at the radar.
Yeah, look busy there downtown Charlottetown on this evening. And why not? It's not a bad one for it. Temperature sitting at around -6, which isn't too unusual for February. We are going to be seeing some increase in cloudiness around the Maritimes as we make our way through this evening and tonight, though the first part of tonight should feature at least some breaks in that cloud cover. So if you're going to take your chances with those clouds coming in, here's a couple things you could see in the night sky. It is a waning gibbous moon, 75% illuminated. It won't be rising above the eastern horizon, though, until near midnight. You can spot the planet Saturn, though, setting on the western horizon after 7 p.m. And if you're out there, you can take a look for the Little Dipper. That'll be above the northern horizon. The aurora is unlikely to be observed tonight. And again, no passes from the International Space Station expected until February 9th. Now, it's not really a big surprise that we're going to be seeing some cloud cover develop across the Maritimes for tonight, because we are currently surrounded by a number of low-pressure systems. We've got a big low that's off the coastline of Labrador, one sitting to the south in the Maritimes, and a sprawling area of low pressure that's in place through western areas of Quebec and making its way into the northeastern United States. There is snow with that one. Are any of these going to be moving into the region? No. Mostly moving around us and directed that way by the jet stream, which is dipping down towards the south. So that low to the west is going to fall through the northeastern United States and then head south and east of the Maritimes. That big coastal low is headed off towards the east of us as well, and that low that's stalled up around Labrador is going to remain stalled near the Labrador coastline. I'll put that into motion for you here. We can take a look at it on this graphic, and you can see the motion of these low pressure systems as we move into and through the upcoming weekend. What that means is we're finally going to be breaking that stretch of running Sundays into Mondays, where at least parts of the Maritimes we're watching for significant snowfalls. Now, the weekend's forecast does feature some cloud cover and a chance of some flurries, but weather conditions overall on the calmer side through the weekend and through the first part of next week, and we will see that in the extended forecast when I'm back a little bit later on, Todd.
Kaylin, winter dine in downtown Charlottetown right now, so there's lots of good specials at the restaurants that could account for that traffic.
There it is.
Maybe. All right, we'll see you later in the show. New transitional housing is coming to St. John. It was approved at a special council meeting last night. As CTV's Nick Moore reports, the hope is people will be moving in by early spring.
There are 2 transitional housing sites on the ground in St. John, including 27 units on Thorne Avenue. City Council has approved the addition of 14 transitional micro-suites nearby, which will be different than the single units.
Now with this new project, we're adding these units. All will have individual bathrooms and kitchens, and so now it's about moving to meal planning, meal prep.
Marcel Lebrun is president of 12 Neighbors Inc. and says the micro-suites are meant to be a bridge for residents to become more independent.
So this is a step up, and then you move up to permanent housing, where you're now paying rent, you're now maintaining control of your own home.
The new micro-suites will also have staff who are on site 24/7.
The intention is not for these to be permanent units ongoing for years to come, recognizing that the homelessness, we are in that crisis right now. We want to be able to provide spaces for people to live comfortably and safely.
Mayor Donna Reardon says the transitional units on Thorne Avenue and Egbert Street have already helped residents find employment, housing, as well as reconnect with family.
It took the out-of-the-box thinking of our own staff to say, we need to do something here, and we need to create it ourselves, because there is not a playbook for this.
Responsibility for the Thorne Avenue and Egbert Street locations will switch from the city to the provincial government on April 1st, by the time the new micro-suites are expected to be open. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
Online, the grandparent scam is popping up again in our region. You can read the police warning at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Anyone who drives in downtown Halifax will tell you finding a parking space is a headache. And if you do find a spot, you might soon find yourself paying more for it. CTV's Emma Convey explains.
On-street parking in the Halifax area ranges from $2 to $3.75 an hour, depending on the zone. Those prices could soon increase based on the city's final budget decisions.
We're looking at all our opportunities to reduce costs and also bring in extra revenue, and so parking was put on the list.
On Wednesday, the Budget Committee approved 3 parking items to add to their budget adjustment list for further consideration. 25% increase in paid parking rates, increased monthly commuter permit fees, and paid parking on Saturdays.
All across the country, you'll pay for parking on a Saturday. So I think this would put us in line with other cities. The mayor had a motion to kind of soften the blow a little bit, where the first hour would be free.
The fear is it could deter customers.
Saturday is, as shown through our stats, is the one time that people will come down to the downtown area because they want to shop and they know that the parking is free.
A downtown Halifax pub manager says they're already facing a lot of shortfalls.
We already pay the highest property tax rates in the city for businesses, and you have to pay for parking on top of that. It seems a bit silly when, you know, we have acres of pavement out in Bears Lake, Dartmouth Crossing, Cole Harbour, and, you know, these businesses are paying lower rates.
We're still very much under the market price for a parking spot. That would be a lot higher to charge what it actually, what the market could bear.
Councillor Laura White brought forward a motion last year for a parking benefit district. That report won't be coming until October.
The fines and fees collected would help us in the area to keep it looking, you know, that people want to come down to beautify it. So again, jumping before the report.
In a statement to CTV News, Mayor Fillmore says residents are facing a 10.9% tax bill increase. Unless council is able to bring that down, they have to look to other revenues. Mayor Fillmore adds that 3 out of every 4 people are telling him to bring that increase down however necessary.
Our whole list right now, the rate would be under 10. Right, or sorry, the tax bill would be under 10%. It would be 9 something right now. We still have a whole bunch more departments to look at.
No decision is final until March 31st. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Okay, we'll park the show for a couple of minutes, pay some bills. Still to come, clouds move over the region tonight. Kaylin has a weekend forecast. But next, are you ready for some football?
You know, at such a young age, to be able to experience the big game and what everybody works for in this NFL league, to experience that at such a young age is a blessing.
One of the quarterbacks there, it's East Coast versus West Coast in Super Bowl 60. And we'll check in on preparations after this.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots are ready for Sunday's kickoff. You can catch the game here on CTV. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the latest from the San Francisco Bay Area as final preparations are underway for Super Bowl 60.
The stage is set, the fans ready for one of the most highly anticipated sports events of the year, Super Bowl 60. The New England Patriots taking on the Seattle Seahawks at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. A rematch from 11 years ago when the Patriots won after intercepting the Seahawks at the goal line. Tom Brady was the Patriots quarterback then. Now it's 23-year-old star quarterback Drake May looking to fill those shoes. A win would crown the Patriots an NFL best 7 Super Bowl titles.
You know, at such a young age, to be able to experience the big game and what everybody works for in this NFL league, to experience that at such a young age is a blessing.
28-year-old Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold, who was written off before the season, is now looking for redemption.
The Super Bowl is something that, you know, you dream of as a kid, but I think you lean on your teammates, you lean on your coaches, and like I mentioned, I lean on my friends and my family a lot.
This is called the Super Bowl experience, where thousands of fans can fully immerse themselves in all things football. Whether it's practicing their extra point kick, participating in a 40-yard dash, or my very favorite, posing with your favorite team. Security is on high alert. The Department of Homeland Security telling ABC News there will be a substantial law enforcement presence with support from federal agencies like the FBI, ATF, and Coast Guard. Security officials tell us they will also deploy a helicopter that will scan for nuclear technology to make sure everyone is safe come Sunday. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Santa Clara.
Closer to home, there is no need to worry about having to shovel the driveway and whether that might cut into the game time. There's not much more than a chance of flurries for the weekend. Kaylin will have the details of a storm-free couple of days after this. Hey, that's a pretty good crowd at Officers Square for an evening skate, -11. Not bad.
Looks like a lot of people around the provincial capitals on this Friday evening are taking advantage of what's some, generally speaking, pretty fair February weather.
Yeah, that's been a really popular attraction now since they redeveloped Officer Square and they put in that skating square or oval. And it's getting a lot of use, which looks great, and especially this winter. We don't, you know, it's a proper winter, and there's ice.
Yeah, and minus 11 is cold, but you know, if you dress for it, and the fact that the winds are lighter for this evening, you know, it's not too bad out there. How about those temperatures out west, though?
So,
see some of those numbers?
You and I were talking about this. Anybody who knows Calgary, they get these Chinooks, right, which are they sort of blow in over the mountains and warms things up.
This is a bit more than that.
This is not that.
Yeah, that's right. So let's bring up our temperature map.
Because look at Edmonton, too. It's never 3 degrees in February in Edmonton.
I know, that's lower than it was yesterday. Calgary is sitting at 11 right now. You know what the high temperature they hit yesterday was in Calgary? 18 degrees, 18, too shy of 20 there. And that was, of course, a record-setting high temperature for that date. And what's going on in the west right now, and we talked about this a little bit earlier with the jet stream patterns, there's a big ridge that's built up through parts of BC and Alberta, and a lot of very warm air coming up out of the United States into those two provinces, contributing to those very warm February temperatures. Now, on the other side of that ridge, you can see a little bit further towards the east, making your way through the prairies. It does get colder again as you get into Manitoba. Thompson sitting at minus 20 right now with sunshine. Winnipeg at minus 16. That colder air kind of making its way through parts of northern Ontario into areas of Quebec. In that northwest wind last night, we tapped into some of that colder air that brought us that colder night here in the Maritimes along with the clear conditions. This evening and tonight, though, we are seeing some increase in cloudiness. So cold tonight, but not quite as cold as it was last night. Some flurries already being reported at the Charlottetown Airport. There will continue to be a chance of flurries for eastern parts of the Maritimes for both tonight and tomorrow. That would include Prince Edward Island, parts of the eastern coastline of New Brunswick, especially around Moncton, the southeast, the north shore of Nova Scotia, and locations in Cape Breton. There's the cloud cover developing, moving towards midnight, represented here in through the grays, and you can see that's around for the start of the day for tomorrow. So cloudier start to Saturday compared to Friday, and then making our way into the afternoon, mostly cloudy conditions persist across much of the Maritimes. Winds in the forecast for tonight and tomorrow remain mostly out of the northeast, and they'll be sustained on Saturday, 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with a few gusts between 20 and 40, so breezy conditions. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight around the region. Lows in New Brunswick still falling down into the minus teens for most communities. In Prince Edward Island tonight, around Charlottetown and Summerside, a low temperature of around minus 7. And temperatures in Nova Scotia for the mainland between minus 6 and minus 10. In Cape Breton between minus 4 and minus 7. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow for the communities in the north of New Brunswick between minus 5 and minus 8. Again, a mostly cloudy day and a fair amount of cloud cover down through central and southern areas of New Brunswick. Flurries around Moncton, the southeast, and high temperatures between minus 3 and minus 5. For Prince Edward Island on Saturday, mostly cloudy, scattered flurries, and most communities will have a high temperature pretty close to minus 3. In the east of Nova Scotia for tomorrow, in Cape Breton, high temperatures between minus 1 and minus 3 with a chance of some flurries. Same thing goes for the north shore and eastern shore of the mainland. In northern and central areas of Nova Scotia, Amherst around minus 2. Same thing goes for Truro, city centers Halifax and Dartmouth with high temperatures for around minus 1. Same thing goes for Upper Tantallon, Chester and Lunenburg. Bridgewater, minus 1 as well. Same thing goes for Liverpool and Shelburne. Yarmouth with the high of around minus 3 for tomorrow. And Indianapolis Valley, Middleton around minus 3. Kentville, Wolfville area, minus 3 as well. And a fair amount of cloud cover expected. In the extended forecast, looking ahead to Sunday for New Brunswick, things clear up a little bit. A mix of sun and cloud. Temperatures a little bit below average into the start of next week. Monday, a mix of sun and cloud as well. It's sunshine in the forecast for Tuesday. The possibility of some snow on Wednesday. So that's sort of the next day for New Brunswick that we'll watch for maybe some snows Wednesday of next week, and then chance of flurries on Thursday and Friday, a mix of sun and cloud. For Nova Scotia in the forecast coming up through the weekend, there's basically a chance of flurries, mostly for eastern parts of the province. The same thing goes for Monday. Temperatures a little bit colder to start next week. Tuesday and Wednesday, both a mix of sun and cloud, and the potential for Nova Scotia to get into a mixture of snow and rain on Thursday, followed by a chance of flurries on Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, for the end of the weekend, coming up on Sunday, some more flurries expected. Same thing goes for Monday with highs of around minus 6. There will be a chance of flurries on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. If you're wondering why there's flurries in the forecast for PEI throughout the next stretch of days, as winds are mostly out of the north and northeast, so that gives you that chance of flurries off of the Gulf. Snow possible on Thursday of next week, and then Friday, a mix of sun and cloud. Todd.
Very good. We'll see you at the end of the show. Next, we go to the movies with film critic Richard Krause, and Irish eyes will be smiling at our story on the scene.
Hello everyone, my name is Mairead Carling from Celtic Woman, and I am so excited that Celtic Woman will be coming to Halifax. You'll hear lots more about it coming up, so stay tuned.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
That wraps up an amazing week at Beaches, Turks and Caicos. When you win your way here, you can run into this guy.
And another trip to give away Monday morning.
On this Friday, we are heading to the cinema, and our guide, as always, CTV film critic Richard Krause. But unlike most weeks, he is not in Toronto. He is at the opposite end of the country, and I'm guessing it's a film festival.
It is. I'm in Victoria, BC for the Victoria Film Festival. Tomorrow I'm hosting an event with the great Sheila McCarthy. We'll talk about her new film, Dancing on the Elephant, that she made with Mary Walsh. It's terrific. I'm really looking forward to getting her on stage. I've got an hour with her to talk about her life and the movie and everything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, good. Well, we appreciate that you can make some time for us. Let's begin with a pop star navigating fame and pressure. Charlie XCX stars in something called The Moment.
Hi, it's Charlie XCX. Are you having a brat summer? I'm sorry, what is it again? Is it?
We agreed to brat summer forever.
Don't you just think the whole, like, keep having a brat summer thing is a bit cringe?
She's a big deal in, I know we know we're in North America, she's a big deal in Britain. Is this a bit of a coming out party, you know, for a budding film career?
Yeah, possibly so. And she's really good in this. It's a mockumentary. She is playing a character that's sort of a heightened version of herself. And you need to know a little bit of subtext before going into this movie. If you don't know who Charlie XCX is, read her Wikipedia page. So she became a phenomenon when she released an album called Brat, which was all about embracing your messy side, your audacious side, to these just banger songs that she put out. So at this moment, when we meet her, she is navigating this newfound fame. She's also about to headline her first arena tour. There's a director who's been hired to make a film of that tour, and he is trying to stab her in the back. The record company wants different things from her, and she's wondering if Brat, if this phenomenon that she started is going to be kind of a cliche by the time she actually hits the road. So she's having some career doubts. So lots of stuff going on here. She's great. Alexander Skarsgård is a lot of fun as that director, but the movie doesn't really have all that much to say. And here's the thing that irks me a little bit with these mockumentaries, is it's shot sort of cinema verite style, lots of jiggly handheld camera. And I just find myself always needing a little Dramamine afterwards because I feel kind of slightly seasick after watching almost 2 hours of those kind of images.
Okay, well, maybe we'll straighten up with this next one. A group of misfits meddling around as they do get in trouble when something called the whistle. Here's a clip.
You're the new girl?
Whoa. Is that a part? No. Can you translate any of it?
Oh, let me guess. They find a relic that they shouldn't touch.
Absolutely. They find an Aztec death whistle, and one of them blows into the spout that's on this thing, kind of looks like a little skull with some ornamentation on it. And whoever hears the plaintive whistle of the Aztec death whistle is going to die a horrible death. And this is kind of a throwback to the teen horror films of the late 80s and the 90s, sort of like the Final Destination franchise. You've got a bunch of teenagers. They're trying to figure out, A, what the heck this whistle is all about, how can they stop it from killing them, and then trying to figure out how to navigate the rest of their lives knowing that they have this Aztec death whistle tone hanging over their lives. It's going to make it just everything more difficult for them. And it's a bit of fun. If you like those kind of movies, if you like the Final Destination movies, if you can find the humor in them, if you can find the fun in them, I think you'll probably like it. So it's called Whistle. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters now.
Okay, we're going to stay with the spooky theme. We have another version of Dracula. Christoph Waltz is in it, so I'll bite. Pardon the pun. Here's the scene.
And you're the first to have captured a specimen alive. These creatures are the result of a divine curse.
Every so often, someone decides it's time for another Dracula installment.
I think Dracula is the second or third most portrayed character in the movies, next to Sherlock Holmes. So there's a lot of Draculas to choose from. This one is directed by Luc Besson. You know him from The Fifth Element and from The Professional. Lots of movies that have been big hits. If you know those movies, you know that he's a lot of style and maybe not so much substance. And that's the case here. It is the story of a prince who says that he will go to war and fight a maybe unbeatable opponent as long as, no matter what happens, his wife is kept safe. When that doesn't happen, he turns into a vampire and spends 400 years looking for her reincarnation. And so this plays up the romantic aspects of Dracula, which are sort of present in Bram Stoker's novel. You don't often see them exploited on screen, though. And you have a kind of spooky performance from Caleb Landry Jones as the title character. But it really is all style and no substance. But it was something a little different. It's more amorous, murderous. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Dracula, and it's in theaters now.
Okay, Richard, we need to talk about this because you and I haven't had the chance. Let's run a clip of this. This is Melania.
Here we go again.
Boy, has this got people split into camps, hey?
It sure does.
$75 million by Jeff Bezos. Doesn't have enough money to run the Washington Post, but he's got $75 million to make a documentary.
Yeah, can you call it a documentary, though? Because it really plays like a number of scenes kind of banged together. It's the 20 days leading up to President Trump's second inauguration. And so you see her getting fitted for a dress, choosing what caviar to put in the golden eggs that they're going to have on every table at one of the dinners. You see her meeting with some world leaders to talk about her pet projects. She sings Billie Jean in the back of a limousine at one point, but you don't learn anything much about her. She talks about being a perfectionist, and she talks about, you know, always looking to the future and that kind of thing. But this movie has zero intellectual curiosity about its subject, and that's where it kind of falls down. It really feels like a curated look at the life of someone who's already very famous, and it doesn't add anything much to it. So it was a bit of a disappointment.
Okay, regardless what you think of the politics that surround it, interesting to have the take on it as a piece of art, or not. Richard Krause, thank you very much. Good luck in Victoria, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, Todd.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with more entertainment in The Scene.
February is Black History Month, recognizing James R. Johnson. James Robinson Johnson was a lawyer, journalist, and civil rights leader who became Nova Scotia's first black lawyer. He used his voice as a platform to challenge discrimination and advance justice for African Nova Scotians.
In health and medical news, an international health group is calling on all countries, including Canada, to do more amid an increase in measles cases and outbreaks. That's one of the stories from CTV's Amanda Debson in the Friday Lifeline.
Canada is among a number of countries being urged to do more to combat an increase in measles by an international health group.
The Pan American Health Organization urges several countries in North and South America, including Canada, to intensify vaccination and surveillance for the infection. The organization says it's issued an alert over a sustained increase in measles cases. Canada saw more than 5,400 measles cases in 2025, according to Health Canada. Alarming data from a new study says ultra-processed foods like pop and sweets are, quote, carefully engineered to encourage consumption and should be regulated like cigarettes. In a peer-reviewed journal, the study looked at the design, marketing, and distribution of ultra-processed foods and how they mirror tactics used by the tobacco industry. The findings argue that these foods that come with serious health risks should be considered addictive, as they optimize craving, rapid intake, and repeated use. Finally, McMaster Children's Hospital in Ontario says helmets should be worn while tobogganing, citing concerns about head injuries. The hospital says it had multiple incidents in January where children suffered traumatic injuries after sledding into trees. It says head injuries are the most common and especially concerning because they can lead to lasting brain damage or cognitive difficulties. Researchers say children between the ages of 6 and 10 experience the highest proportion of injuries. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
Katie's got the night off, but we still have entertainment. The Grammy-nominated group Celtic Woman is the most successful all-Irish female group in history, and it is headed to our region. The tour is going to make 2 stops in the Maritimes this April, Casino New Brunswick in Moncton, Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. Katie has a preview.
So feel to me the parting glass.
Celtic Woman is a group of women that has been going since 2004. It was originally meant to be a one-night thing of Irish music, and here we are nearly 25 years later, still going. So this new tour, it's called A New Era, so it really does what it says on the tin. After 21 years, you do want to breathe new life into something, but you also don't want to forget your past or where you come from or the reason why you're here for 21 years. So we've got an amazing new musical director called Brian Byrne, who is a Golden Globe nominated Irish composer. So he's working away on lots of beautiful new arrangements for us, breathing new life into songs that people will know, like the Danny Boys, You Raise Me Up, but also composing some new stuff which people won't have heard. And of course we have to bring a bit of fun as well, because it wouldn't be a Celtic Woman show without a bit of fun. So we really encourage people to get up and have a good time and dance as well, because, you know, you're out for the night, so you want to have fun. So we're going all over the States, but then we're also, of course, coming to Canada and Nova Scotia. And, you know, my favorite part about being on the road is just getting to see new places and meet new people. A lot of people have Irish and Celtic heritage, so that's kind of why they resonate with it so deeply. So yeah, thank you so much for having us, because we haven't been up your way all that much, so we're so excited.
An American girl, he's sure to marry, and still she cried, I love him the best.
There's something for everybody in Celtic Woman, so be prepared. You're going to cry, because there's going to be those really heartfelt songs, but you're also going to be up out of your seat dancing. You know, it's not just the 4 of us on stage. You know, there's Irish dancing for starters. We've got bagpipes, uilleann pipes, whistles, piano, bouzouki, lots of guitars. We have percussion and drummer. So it's very much still a spectacle. Then when the lights go down and it's just the harmony and the nostalgia and the beautiful Celtic stories. I always think of the audience as the 5th member of Celtic Woman. So if I was to encourage anybody to come to the show, I would just say you'll feel like one of us. And that's the way that we've always wanted.
We'll wrap things up next. The Dow Jones had a very robust end to the week. It closed trading up 1,200 points. Canada lost about 25,000 jobs in January. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has the latest on the employment report.
The unemployment rate dropped to 6.5%, and that's because fewer people were looking for work. The manufacturing sector took a major blow in January. It shed 28,000 jobs. So it's no surprise that Ontario had the biggest drop in employment. The education sector lost 24,000 jobs, and public administration was down 10. Alberta had the biggest increase in employment, gaining 20,000 jobs. Stellantis is selling its stake in a battery manufacturing plant in Ontario. LG Energy Solutions was already a partner in the project, but will now take full ownership of the Windsor plant. Stellantis stock is taking a hit today and a write-down of $26 billion U.S. Like many automakers, it is revising its EV plan as U.S. demand dries up. Markets are on a comeback mission today. The TSX was pushed up by precious metal stocks. In the U.S., some of the badly battered tech stocks started to recover. Investors chose to buy on the dip after a volatile start to the week. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 73.23. West Texas Intermediate is up to 63.55. Western Canadian Select is down almost $2 to 48.34. And the TSX recovered 476 points today to end the week at 32,470. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
One more glimpse at the weekend. There's Kaylin. Kaylin?
Yeah, thank you, Todd. It is a cold February evening out here on the weather deck in the north end of Halifax. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight, and that is going to take us to a beautiful sunrise scene at Herring Cove. This is from Rob Maynard. I want to thank Rob very much for sharing the picture with us. A spectacular scene there. Herring Cove for tomorrow. Cold start to the day, but the afternoon really not too bad. It'll be mostly cloudy, maybe with occasional peaks of blue sky or a little bit of sunshine breaking through that cloud cover, and the high temperature will be around -1. Let's take a look at our day planner for tomorrow across the Maritime region. So cloudier skies for all 3 Maritime provinces compared to today. There will be a chance of flurries around the eastern parts of New Brunswick, especially Moncton, the southeast, Prince Edward Island, and the north and east of Nova Scotia. Morning temperatures several degrees below zero, some down into the minus teens. And then for the afternoon, it remains mostly cloudy. There'll be a breezy northeast wind, and a lot of the high temperatures in the Maritimes on Saturday will be in the range of around -1 to -5. And then, of course, Todd, we know coming up on Sunday, it's Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of Patriots jerseys in the studio today, I noticed.
Yes.
Tell me.
Well,
over here.
Well, first I want to ask.
Bandwagon.
Yes. Okay, so I was going to mention that you, of course, being originally from the West Coast, you are a true Seahawks fan. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to have decent weather. They won't be worried about the cold in Santa Clara, California. As for me, Kaylin, I'll be cheering for the same team that I've been cheering for every year since 1981. Yes, it's the Buffalo Bills.
But they're not in the Super Bowl.
Don't tell me they're not in the Super Bowl. Let me live my little dream. It's the same every year. All right, we'll find out. So you're going to take Seattle.
Seahawks. And
I don't like New England for obvious reasons, so we'll go. That's 2 for the Hawks. Go Hawks, and we'll find out. We'll chat on Monday. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Kaylin, for that. That is going to wrap it up for us this week. We're going to leave you with scenes not of football, but of skiing and the slopes of Martok Ski Area. That is just outside of Windsor, Nova Scotia, of course, with the names of everyone who brings you your nightly news. Bruce Frisco is in this chair at 11:30, and the website has our weekend reporting. I'm Todd Battis. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Go Bills.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.